welcome back to consecutive day 1215 of a diary of a runpreneur. And today's episode, I want to talk to you about mentally preparing yourself when things don't go right during a marathon training plan. So remember to give this a subscribe, share, like, and comment as more people we get in front of, the more money we raise on my fundraising mission to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon. All the information about the challenge and how you can get involved is in the link in the comments below. Thank you as always, and let's get started. So, consecutive day 1215 of a diary of a runpreneur. And today's episode, I want to talk to you about mentally preparing yourself when things don't go right during a marathon training plan. So I've run lots of marathon races, half marathons, ultra marathons over the years, and you get some races that just go, everything goes to plan. You get others where nothing goes to plan, including the build-up. You get other races that you enter, and then you get injured in your training plan and you can't even race. So there's all sorts of different permutations that can arise when you take on an event such as the magnitude of running in a marathon, or even half marathon and above. You have to train. There's no way getting around it. Generally speaking, it becomes serious endurance. Once you get above 10k, I'd say probably 9 to 10 miles is where it starts slipping into kind of longer endurance-based exercise. And when you get into that kind of bracket, you have to take it seriously, because after about 9 or 10 miles, depending on what pace you're running at, you don't have enough energy fuel in terms of carbohydrate. So unless you're running in fat burning zone, you will need to be fueling, and there's a strategy behind that to enable you to finish a race if you're trying to push yourself at a pace when preparing for a marathon. But what I want to talk to you about today in particular is when things don't go to plan. And I'm not saying they're not going to plan, but I've got a marathon in 2 and a bit weeks, 3 weeks on Sunday. So it's Thursday today, so about 3.5 weeks until I run a marathon in Yorkshire, the 10th anniversary Yorkshire Marathon. And I was debating about whether to enter, because I'm still struggling the back end of plantar fasciitis in my left foot, which is a pretty horrendous running injury. And it's been 5 months and counting since I've been fully fit. So, and I've still got a way to go. Secondly, I've had minor calf strains during this marathon training plan, as I've been pushing myself a bit harder than I usually would doing my day-to-day runs. And I think ultimately it then becomes a mental battle. You're constantly worrying about, are your calves going to hold out? Is your little niggles, your plantar fasciitis, is it going to be okay? And you end up worrying about all sorts of different permutations that you have limited control over. I say limited control because obviously you could decide to just rest completely up until race day, but I'm trying to get the balance right between doing enough to ensure I give myself a fighting chance of hitting my race targets on the day. But if I push too hard, I'm putting at risk of me being able to make the start line. So how do I deal with this? Well, there's a kind of a step-by-step plan to how you kind of manage your worries. Well, first and foremost, you can only control what happens now, today. So anything outside of what you're going to do today, try not to think about, because there's not a lot you can really do about it. You can't change the past, and you certainly can't change the future, as in tomorrow. But what you do today will have an impact on the future. So just focus on the now and today. Secondly, look at worst possible case scenario. Well, worst case scenario for me is that my plantar fasciitis rears up again, both my calves tear, so I can't run, and my running streak stops. That's pretty much a worst case scenario. And then step 2 is prepare yourself, or accept that if the worst case scenario happens, could you deal with it? And do you know what? If that happened, I'd be absolutely devastated. But do you know what? I probably would carry on my running streak by doing really, really slow jogging, kind of walking pace jogging, to keep my streak going, which would be fine. And I'll just focus on recovery for probably right the way through to Christmas, and then think about racing again next year. So you know what, I could deal with that. And then the third step is try and improve on the worst case. So everything I do today needs to be geared towards improving what the worst case scenario could be. So like I say, I'm running at a slower pace. I'm running at 5.5 minute kilometre pace, where I have for the previous few weeks been running at kind of 4:45 minute kilometre pace. But I can feel my calves are still tight, so I'm going to give them at least a week of running at this kind of pace, and hopefully this will loosen them up enough to then push it again for a week before I slow it down a week in the build up to the race. So that's basically what I'm going to say today. But my learnings from my diary are that we often worry about all sorts of things that we have little or no control over. So when you feel yourself mentally worrying about things, and when you do this, I don't think people fully appreciate the stress that mental worry can have on your body. So the less we worry about, the healthier we can be. And there's a lot of evidence to back this up, by the way. It's not just kind of hocus pocus stuff. So follow that 4-step plan. Step 1, you can't change the past, and you can only impact the future by what you do today. So just think about today. Don't worry about tomorrow or the day after or the week ahead. Just think about today. And secondly, what is worst case scenario? What you're worried about. And then after that, if you understand that, mentally prepare yourself how you deal with worst case scenario. And once you have a bit of a plan of how you deal with that, it becomes more palatable and less kind of daunting and worrying. And then the 4th step is try and improve on what the worst case scenario is by what you do today. If you follow those 4 steps, believe you me, worrying will become a less impact on your life. And if it's a less impact on your life, it's likely that you'll be healthier and happier for it. So I hope that's useful. Any questions or comments, drop me a line. I'll respond to everyone. Remember to give this a subscribe, share, like and comment, as the more people we get in front of, the more money we raise on my fundraising mission to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon. All the information about the challenge, how you can get involved, is in the link in the comments below. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.